Hi, Dieter. Could you tell a little bit about the tags and the importance of tags?
Tagging in the cloud is a foundational service where many other FinOps capabilities depend on it, right? For example, showback or chargeback, and also any automation around cloud governance and cloud waste elimination relies on proper tags, right? All major cloud vendors support tagging of most cloud resources, not all of them, with some exceptions, such as network traffic, support charges, those kind of things, right? Cloud invoices or bills only support basic grouping of cloud costs, such as by account, project, or subscription. This is not helpful when it comes to finding ownership of cloud resources, right? Let's say you have a cost anomaly in the cloud, you need to react very quickly. You need to find that owner and ask them if that anomalous cost spent was intentional or unintentional, right? So tagging is the method used to further separate cloud cost and align these with the business, such as cost centers, business units, teams, applications, and microservices.
So, how do you address the multi-cloud scenario? Like if you have multiple clouds, right? How does the tagging work in that case?
Well, if you have multiple clouds, then you need a tagging standard that goes across clouds, and the same tagging rules need to be applied to all cloud vendors. Now, each cloud vendor has specific requirements around tagging. For example, 256 bytes or 512 bytes, those kind of things, right? So you need to find the lowest common denominator when building a cross-cloud tagging infrastructure.
From your experience, right, is there a scenario, let's say there is a cloud cost anomaly and you're seeing this spike in cloud cost by 100K per day, and you're trying to figure out which team this activity belongs to? Like, how long that would usually take when you have a good tagging strategy versus bad tagging strategy? Like, what is some real-time scenarios that you could bring in?
So what we specifically do for cost anomalies, we happen to use Slack, right, as our sort of text communication tool within our organization. And so what we will do is we will publish a cost anomaly report once a day, right? And then there's different Slack channels, one for AWS, one for GCP, and one for Azure, right? And so if, let's say, if there's a GCP cost anomaly, then that specific channel has all the team leads. There's like maybe 40 of them, right? And you can, of course, invite more engineers as well as needed, right? And they will then start a subthread, so like a thread, right? A sub-thread where they communicate about specific cost anomalies, right? And they will talk to each other and say like, hey, did you turn this on yesterday? Yes. Did you know that this will be so that expensive? No. Can you please turn it off right away? And then let's investigate of how we can safely turn it on, right? They will have a conversation there. So if you have tags, it works like that. If you don't have tags, it's a very bad situation, right? I have seen situations where the organization only looks at the end of the month at the bill. And really all you can do at that point is just be sad, right? You can't, the action is no longer possible to do it in a timely manner, right? Now your bill is up by like 20% or maybe twice as much as it used to be, right? And there's nothing you can do. So that real-time capability is critical when it comes to cost anomalies. Otherwise, there is no point, right? Another one of my clients had a cost anomaly where they turned one service on, and under the hood, it used another service that was quite expensive, right? And the engineer wasn't even aware that, when you use this one cloud product, that it automatically uses another cloud product that is quite costly, right? And in that scenario, the cost anomaly shows the second cloud product, right? And no one has turned that on. So now you need to figure out on that day, what were all the changes? Go through the list of changes, right, that people made. And it turns out that one engineer turned on cloud product 1, right? And so, what we did is we said, like, hey, can you just turn it off? And let's see if cloud product 2 will stop as well, right? And it did, right? And this is how that engineer learned that, using one product also will use another one, right? And that can happen. So you need to do your due diligence, right? But definitely don't wait until the end of the month, because bad things will happen, and you want to be able to react within hours or possibly minutes.
And could you tell us a little bit about the KPIs to monitor tagging?
Yeah, absolutely. So key performance indicators, they are used to help drive business goals, right? So in a business goal could be, hey, you know what? We want cost attribution across all of cloud spend, right? So and you also need to observe these KPIs over time, right? Is the KPI trending up, or is the KPI trending down? And is that a good thing, right? And you can also set thresholds for KPIs to identify outliers, right? A few common used KPIs for tagging and cost allocation are percentage of taggable resources having tags, percentage of tags complying with a tagging standard, because you could have a tag, but it doesn't comply with the tagging standard, right? Percentage of total cloud spend that is allocated, percentage of shared cost that is allocated. Those are things like containers, or just shared services, like a simple storage service could be a shared service like a data lake. And lastly, percentage of untaggable and untagged cost that is able to be allocated, right? A typical target for an inform phase is about 80% for all these KPIs, right? While an operate phase will target closer to 100%, right? A higher maturity practices will also utilize automation to notify workload owners when non-compliant tag deployments are being made.